Hello and welcome to this webinar, which is the second webinar in this three-part series talking about finding England and Wales wills online. If you weren't here for the first webinar, we covered finding wills online for the Prerogative Court of Canterbury and the Prerogative Court of York. Should you wish to see it, you can find it at the BYU Family History Library in the webinar library. As a follow-up, I found this little map which shows the counties that are covered by the Prerogative Court of Canterbury, which are in yellow, and the Prerogative Court of York, which are in green. The map is a little bit more helpful as it gives a visual view of which counties are covered by each of these courts, and I thought that might be helpful for you to see. Also, as a follow-up to last week, one of the subscribers left a comment on the YouTube channel and mentioned this site that he found was very useful in transcribing those difficult to read wills. It's called transcribus.ai. You can either drag an image of an old will into the program or select the image from a file on your computer. Here is an image of an old will that I dragged into the program. On the right, you will see the transcription. Even though the transcription isn't perfect, it really is pretty good, and you can easily make out what was said in the will. Keep in mind that the spelling is going to be different and that there are going to be some words that weren't properly transcribed, but overall I found it very useful, and I think I will be using this a lot in the future. So thank you to David Heaver, I hope I'm saying that right, for that recommendation. Today, we are going to talk about the Principal Probate Registry wills, and these are wills post-1857, and we're talking about how to find them online. Next time, on March 24th, we will be covering the local ecclesiastical courts pre-1858. This will be by far the most complicated webinar because the wills proved in local courts are very tricky to find, and especially to find online. So if you have ancestors in the time period pre-1858 who weren't wealthy enough to have wills proved in the Prerogative Court of Canterbury or York, you will definitely want to watch the webinar on March 24th. Okay, the Principal Probate Registry. This started on the 1st of January 1858. It's a centralized civil government service which replaced all the earlier ecclesiastical probate courts, which were scattered in different courts all over the country. Being a central one-stop shopping makes these wills a lot easier to find. It's important to realize that a will was not necessarily probated in the town or even the county in which the testator lived. In fact, they were often probated in courts that were sometimes quite far away. Why they were probated in certain courts, I'm not quite sure. My knowledge on the subject doesn't quite stretch that far. But when deciding if the will refers to your ancestor, look at the place of death rather than the court in which it was proved. The system consists of 11 district registry offices, 18 sub-district registries located throughout England and Wales, and the Principal Registry Office located in London. So your ancestors' wills could be proved in any of these 29-30 courts. The first place I would go to check for all these post-1857 wills is Ancestry.com. That is my preferred search. Perhaps in your research you have come across a relative or ancestor whose wills show up in England or Wales during that time period. Or perhaps you're just trying to find wills for a certain person, or just going on a fishing expedition to find wills of people of a certain surname in a certain place. If the latter is the case, then you would put in the card catalogue title search at Ancestry.com the words England and Wales National Probate Calendar. And in parentheses, you don't have to put that whole amount. If you put in England and Wales National Probate, that will probably be the only thing that will come up. This collection contains over 20 million records. That's a lot of records. Notice that technically it's called a probate calendar and not an index, even though that's basically what it is. So you will need to enter the surname and the place of interest. As you can see, I put in Casburn and Burwell, Cambridgeshire, England. It will bring up all the people of that surname in that database. For our example today, I'm going to choose the will of Robert Casburn, who died in 1883 in Cambridgeshire, England. When I click on the search result, I get a thumbnail view of his entry in the England and Wales National Probate Calendar. Here it is a little bit closer. Notice the 1883 at the top of the page, and there's his name right there, as you can see. Now I've zoomed in even more so you can see what it says. 7th of September, the will of Robert Casburn, late Burwell, in the county of Cambridge, sedge merchant, who died 25th of May, 1883, at Burwell, was proved at the Principal Probate Registry. So this will was actually proved at the actual registry in London. It was proved by Mary Casburn of Burwell, widow, the relict, that means she is his widow, and William Bridgman of North Street, Burwell, and Salisbury Ball of Burwell, both farmers and the executors of the will. Remember or write down the day he died, which was the 25th of May, and the date of the proving of the will, which was the 7th of September, both in 1883. Now, armed with that information, you'll go to the Family Search Catalogue. The good news is that Family Search has microfilmed copies of the wills from 1858 to 1925. They are available in the Family Search Catalogue and have been digitized. This is really great news. It is important to note that this only applies to the wills during that time period, not the letters of administration or admons, which they are often called. They have not been filmed. Here's a little piece from the instructions at the general government site. It says, in this case, the court can grant letters of administration, which appoints administrators to administer the estate of the intestate. Letters of administration are sometimes called admons. Here is a breakdown of the microfilms and the years covered. These add up to about 2,792 microfilms of wills from that 67-year time period. That represents a lot of wills. So knowing how to find those wills is important. To find the wills in the Family Search Catalogue, you will put in the title search, record copy of wills for the Principal Registry, 1858 to 1925. Make sure you take that down or come back and look at that, because you need to put that in pretty much exact. That will bring you to this page. And here you'll click on the title, and that will bring you to the actual page of the microfilms. Scroll down and you will see a listing of the dates with corresponding microfilm numbers. There's probably about 6 pages that look very much like this. Keep going until you find the time period that you need. In this case, the will was proved in September of 1883. You can see that September 1883 is sandwiched between August N to Z and October A to B. So you can guess that Robert Casburn's will be somewhere in the middle of those images. This film has a lock above it, if you notice on the right, so you cannot access it from home. You will have to go to a family history center to access it. Once you've clicked on the film icon, you will see the digitized microfilm. Now you have the task of searching for the will. But here are some important points to facilitate an efficient search. Firstly, records are arranged by year and month. So look for blank pages, which usually will indicate the beginning of a new month, such as those indicated here in red. You can see the blank pages. Once you find a blank page, such as this, look for the month in which the will on that page was proved. The date will be in the last paragraph at the end of the will. You won't see it here, but I'll show it to you in a minute. Within each month, the men's wills are arranged alphabetically by the first letter of the surname. That means that all of the surnames beginning with M are grouped together, but not necessarily alphabetically within the M, and then arranged by date. Women's wills, also arranged by first letter of the surname, then by date, usually come after the men's wills. If a month and a letter of the alphabet are split between two films, you will need to look at both films. So following these procedures, I found the will of Robert Casburn on image 302 of 760. It didn't really take too long. That's the first page of the will. Here is the second page of the will, and the will ends at the top of the third page. And I have circled in red where you would need to see the probate date, which I referred to earlier. So what I've shown you is how to find wills that fall between the time period 1858 to 1925 using Ancestry.com and the Family Search Catalog. But what about wills that come after that 67-year time period covered by Family Search? In showing how to find wills not found on Family Search, I will use Rebecca Casburn of Cambridgeshire. Her entry reads, Rebecca Casburn of the Causeway, Burwell, Cambridgeshire. She died on the 28th of May, 1942, and her estate was granted on the 21st of April, 1943. Notice again the date at the top of the page. Therefore, we will not be able to find her in the Family Search Catalogue. Notice also that it is an administration, not a will. Wills are designated by the word probate, and you can see some of these in other entries on this page where it says probate. Wills and administrations after 1925 and administrations that are not filmed by Family Search can be accessed at the gov.uk site. Currently, it is in beta, and to be honest, the site is very confusing and not very intuitive. So rather than you having to figure it all out, I've given you here the direct link to get to the page you need. That's the URL in red here. So we'll go to that URL and you would click Start Now. It will take you to this page where you can order a will online for about £1.50 or around $2. Notice the part in small print that I've emphasized in red. It reads, if you cannot find the record you're looking for, check the years after the person died. These records are stored under the year of the grant was issued rather than the year of death. That information is if you want to do the search on this site, which I do not advise. My advice to you is to take the information that you find on Ancestry.com and enter it into the search field that I'll show you in a minute. However, the part in that red square that was important is that the records are being stored by when the grant was issued. Here is where that information is essential in your search. Here's a search field, and I put in the name Casburn, Rebecca, and the year of the probate, even though it asks for the year of death. That's where it's a problem, because if you put the year of death, you will not find it. You have to put the year it was probated, even though it asks you what was their year of death. It might be good to give some feedback to this site. I have already given feedback on some of the things that I found confusing. If you hit save here and continue, you will be taken to this page, which is an advanced search. When I entered all the information correctly in the advanced search and click continue, I got no results. Here it is, no results returned. My advice to you is not to use the advanced search. Just use the simple search I showed you on that first page. Here it is again. Just use this one. Don't even go to the advanced search. If you don't put in exactly what they want and they don't ask for what they want properly, then you won't get any results, unfortunately. So here you see the results, and it shows that I had in the digital search 0 results. If you scroll down a bit further, however, then you see the image search results, and you see a thumbnail of the probate be the same as the one that you accessed on Ancestry.com. So you will click on that little link above the thumbnail, and then that will take you to this page, which is a larger page of the probate calendar, and an order form on the right to complete. This one you can complete according to the required fields. Then click Add to Basket. You will see this page which confirms that you have added a document to your basket. Clicking on My Basket at the top menu will show you how many orders are in your basket and give you the means to place the order. You will need to create an account or sign into your account if you already have one. Once you've done that, it will bring you to the payment page and you can pay your $2 or your £1.50. You'll get a page that your order is complete. Then you will receive an email that you have a file to download. You'll be surprised and impressed that your document came so quickly, but don't get too excited. You'll need to put in your email address to confirm that it's you, and then you'll get this download your file, but it's not the actual document, it's just your receipt. So don't get too excited when you see that. You will get an email in about 3 to 4 days that your order has processed. But again, no link is posted to access that will. So to avoid a lot of messing about, here is how you get back to your order. So first thing you want to do is enter that URL right there that I put in blue. Then make sure you log in using your registered email address. Like I say, you have to create an account, so you have to put in your email address. Then you click on the My Orders tab at the top of the screen. We'll go back here so you can see that. It's right up here at the top, My Orders. Under the Active Orders and under the Downloads document header, click on the links which are associated with your orders to download your files. And I'll show you that right now. Here you can see those. That says Download Grant and Download Will. And it has Rebecca Casburn right there at the bottom. They provide 2 links, and one is for the probate grant and one is for the will, if it's legalized by a solicitor. If your grant is an admon, like ours was, it was an administration, not a will, meaning that she was intestate, there is no will, and you will have a letter of administration on the will link instead of a will, and that will confirm that. So you will click on both of those and you'll get 2 documents. One is thanking you for your order and explaining, in this case, that this was a letter of administration and that there is actually not a will and that the person died intestate. But you can see over here on the right that there's the administration. It still has some pretty good information. It gives you Rebecca Casburn, where she lived and where she died. She didn't die where she lived, actually. She died at 29 Union Lane, Chesterton, Cambridgeshire. She was a spinster without parents. And she left her money to Annie Casburn, who was her niece, who lives in Leeds, and it tells you where she lived in Leeds. So that's some pretty good information. Okay, so we have gone through how to find wills from 1858 to 1925 using the Family Search Catalog and Ancestry.com, and now how to find wills and administrations after 1925 by using the gov.uk site. You can also order wills from 1996 onward, but I think there are some other parameters you have to fulfill to order those wills, and maybe showing that you're a close relative or something. That's all I have, just to show you how to do that. Hopefully you can leave some feedback on their site because it is a little bit confusing, and I hopefully streamline that process for you a little bit. Just want to let you know that the next part of this series will be on March 24th, and we'll be covering the ecclesiastical courts. As I said, they are pretty complicated. Now I just want to turn the time over and see if we have any questions or anything that needs to be addressed. Any questions? You can put those in the chat or in the question and answer. That would be great. Is there a handout? That's the first question. No, but I will make a PDF of these slides and they will be available attached to the presentation. And I think most of the information that you need is there, especially those links that I gave you. Anything else? Okay, well, I think we're probably done then for today. Thank you.